But does that what? I don't know if that's what the voters want, right? Because again,
well, he would balance out what people don't like about Trump.
Yeah.
With this bombastic personality, but also like you got to give credit to the guy because that bombastic personality really did expose the deep state. It really did expose all this corruption and that's geared all the Russia collusion, the fact that the media was completely on board with that there's been no apologies that this was all bullshit.
Yeah.
There's so much of that he exposed because of the fact that he fights tooth, claw, and nail. The fact that he won't back down, and then he gets it, and he literally goes after the intelligence community, which is obviously from your perspective is a terrible idea.
Well, no, it's not a terrible idea if you're going after for certain individuals politicizing. Because that can never happen. That's a death knell for any intelligence organization, as far as I'm concerned, or a federal law enforcement organization like the Bureau.
Right.
So you should always be on the lookout for that. I have no problems with that at all. But my point is always with at least with the organization that I know, it's not the body of the organization, right? You get individuals who are become enamored of their access or their power or the closeness to the policies, or they let their personal agenda take over. That's a real danger, and you can never let that happen. And so
that's what I think people need to understand when they talk disparagingly about the intelligence community. And that, in my opinion, my personal opinion, is most of these people are patriots. And that there are people that get into positions of power in every single organization, no matter what it is, where they abuse that power, and those people become corrupt.
Yeah.
And this has happened in every business. I'm sure every branch of government. I'm sure it happens everywhere. But that doesn't mean that the intelligence communities are unnecessary.
No, you don't. Yeah, that would be like saying, okay, the CEO of a company has got a certain political agenda, and so like with BlackRock, maybe the head of it is like enamored with whatever it was, equity and inclusion,
governance.
I can't remember. And governance, and so the whole organization is bad, right? Well, okay, probably not everybody there thinks that way, right? But all it takes is a handful at the top level on the 7th floor or wherever the organization is, and that's a problem. So you defeat that in part by having a very proactive, curious government, right, with the proper committees and the intel, committees that are up on Capitol Hill as an example, that ask all those important questions and that demand answers and that aren't so hyper partisan that they refuse to, pursue the obvious, right? And look, the lack of self-awareness is shocking. When you get people like Adam Schiff and Jamie Raskin, saying things like, "Well, this look at the Biden finances is it's bull, it's purely political," and Raskin and Schiff and others spent years, right, getting in front of the cameras and just spewing bull about the Russia collusion story, right? And yet the fact that they don't see it because they're so partisan and they don't understand, like, the important thing here is it doesn't matter you're a Republican or Democrat, everybody should be subject to the same concerns and behavior and scrutiny, right? But it's not going to happen. I don't know how you walk it back. I don't know how we get back to some level of normal, right? And I don't think we're going to see that during the course of this election cycle. Right? This is going to be a show.
Yeah.
Right? So
it's going to be a show, especially with the indictments.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And I don't think there's any more coming down the pike. So I think these 4 are it. But that D.C. indictment that's definitely a political document, right? I haven't had a chance to go through the Georgia indictment in full, but the race that they all have, right, in trying to get these things out there in the time frame that they are, would seem to indicate that they've got a political motivation here. Make this last through the election cycle, screw over to the degree they can what they view as the top challenger, and let it go. And they don't seem to care about the public's perception of how that looks.
Right. So. And that's a dangerous precedent to set, because if that happens, what's to stop some authoritarian Republican from utilizing the same methods to go after people in your group?
Right.
Once the precedent's been set.
Yeah. No, there's nothing. And that's, and then you get into banana, Republic territory. So,
yeah.
But again, I think, Yeah, I would be hard pressed to imagine Biden's going to end up going all the way through the whole process, you know, securing all the delegates, you know, running, winning. I mean, I
don't think they want him to. I really don't think they want him to.
But
I mean, another option is Michelle Obama that keeps getting bandied about. I'm not sure if she even wants to have anything to do with that.
You know, she's in one of those positions, right? It's like Oprah Winfrey. People say, well, Oprah Winfrey should run. Well,
she should.
Yeah, I mean, well, I know, but what I mean is when they say that, you think, well, she enjoys this position of being loved by lots of people. And why would, and so Michelle Obama, she's in sort of that sweet spot, right? Everybody's, oh my God, it's Michelle Obama. You know, as soon as you put yourself in that arena.
Right. Then the hate comes at you.
Yeah, comes at you fast.
And you don't need it.
No. I mean, they've made enough money.
Yeah.
How are they all doing that? How are all these people making this money?
Crazy, Mike.
It's crazy.
I don't know.
I don't get it either.
Seems weird on a $400,000 a year salary.
Yeah.
Or you're worth hundreds of millions.
Or you look at the senators, right?
Yeah.
How's that working? And
how is
so
that crazy with just the insider trading? How is that still legal?
Well, and what is it? A senator's salary is in like I think the low 200,000s or something like that. Maybe I forget. But yeah, my experience has been you don't become a multi-millionaire, you know, doing that unless you're really savvy.
Shenanigans.
Picking stocks, right?
Yeah,
I'm sitting in a committee and I hear somebody talk about a new program that's going to be developed to develop a new type of propulsion system.
Right.
Yeah. That's
right. That's how it goes.
That's right.
That's how it
That's
goes.
how it goes.